Hello and welcome to today's English lesson. My name is Stuart. In today's lesson, we're looking at how we use ago, already, and before in English. Let's go to the intro. Now, as I said, today's lesson is looking at how we use ago, already, and before in English. And for some of you, how we use these three can be difficult and complex sometimes, especially between ago and before. But I'll show you firstly how we use ago, secondly already, thirdly before in English in order to help you speak English fluently or perfectly. Now, ago. Ago in English means how long before now something happened. And we use it with past tenses. We can't use it with perfect tenses normally, so remember only past tenses, past simple mainly. So, I finished work 2 hours ago. I finished work 2 hours ago. So, how long before now something happened? So, I finished 2 hours before now, so 2 hours ago. John left the UK 20 years ago. So he lived in the UK, then he moved somewhere else, so he left the UK 20 years ago. When did Pete leave? About 15 minutes ago. So he was here, he left, now to then, 15 minutes ago is when he left. And I should have finished work an hour ago. I'm still here. My timetable tells me that I should have finished work an hour ago, but I'm still working. So I should have finished work an hour ago. That would be my official time to stop 1 hour ago, but I'm continuing working, okay? So I should have finished work an hour ago. Now, the second point is looking at already, and already tells us about something that happened sooner than expected, or something that's done and we don't need to repeat it, okay? So, examples. No need to tell John, he already knows the news. No need to tell him, he already knows the news, okay? So, no need to repeat it because he knows already. Don't order anything for me. I have already eaten. Okay? I have already eaten. So there's no need to order anything for me. I have already eaten. Have you finished your homework already? Okay? Have you finished your homework already? Surprised that perhaps this person has finished sooner than expected. Okay? Sooner than expected. And David has already arrived home from school. Again, meaning that perhaps he is home a little sooner than we expected him to be. Now, one thing we can see here is the position. So, have you finished your homework already? Okay, that's to add a type of emphasis or more of a surprise. And we can also place it here in between the has and the past participle, okay, if we're using the present perfect structure. So, David has already arrived home from school. And have you finished your homework already at the end for the emphasis? Now the third one is with before, and before is at an earlier time in the past. Examples. I have been to New York before. I have been to New York previously in the past at a certain time. I have been to New York. So I have been to New York before. If we were to use ago, we would say, I went to New York 5 years ago, or I have been to New York before. Okay, so that would be how we use it differently there. So past tense, simple past, I went to New York 5 years ago, but I have been to New York before. Mike always washes his hands before lunch. Okay, so he washes his hands before lunch. So he has lunch. Previous to that lunch, he washes his hands. So before lunch. They lived together for 6 years before they got married. So they were living together they got married. So before that time of marriage, they were living together. So they lived together for 6 years before they got married. And before I go to work, I spend time reading the paper. So I read the paper, then I go to work. So before I go to work, I read the paper. Now, before can be a preposition, it can be an adverb, it can be a conjunction. So here, for example, it is an adverb, preposition, conjunction in those sentences. But the meaning is at an earlier time in the past. Okay? We can begin a sentence with before, or we can put it here in the sentence as well. And we can also use a gerund structure here as well, but that's a little bit more formal. So before going to work, I spend time reading the paper. They lived together for 6 years before marrying. Okay? So we can use the gerund structure there as well. But basically, ago, already, and before, that is how we use those structures in English. Now, thank you very much for watching the lesson. If you have any comments or questions, you know where to leave them in the section below. Please share the video on social media, your Facebook, Twitter, Google+, Pinterest. Share it up on social media. I'll see you in the next lesson. Have a good day. Bye.